beforehand, yeah, like I'd be like a little bit hungover, wouldn't have drunk much water, diet would have been shit, everything. And then I'd either just push the problem to a side and then might deal with it in a shitty manner or fucking whatever. But nine times out of 10, push it aside and hope that it sort of just fucking flutters away somewhere.
Yeah.
Go home and have some more beers. Yeah, I suppose there was obviously days I'm like, fuck, I need a beer. So like, like I might even quit work, like leave work early and then just be like, wouldn't be doing my full day's work. I'd, push a job out and go home and get a 6-pack on the way or whatever, or, get a carton on the way home and then just go home and just, not so much just sit there and drink, like I'd still be doing shit, but like, I might go home, mow the lawns and just drink and then find myself like hammered by the end of the night.
Yeah.
A lot of times, yeah, like I had to hold myself up. Sometimes I'd get home and like, the kids and missus would be inside and doing whatever they're doing or whatever, and I'd get home and sort of straight into the garage and I'd grab a beer, crack a beer, and I'd finish doing what I'm doing with work-wise or whatever, load my trailer up. Before I got inside, like not all the time, but there's a good chunk of it. Like I might already had punched a couple of cones and had a couple of beers before I got inside. Before I even seen my family, I was already baked.
Legends, welcome to another episode of the Interchange podcast, and thank you for joining me, your host Venlo, and Sammy Weaver. But before I introduce Sam, I do have a very small favour to ask, and that is if you have been enjoying the content, even just the slightest little bit, if you could please do us a very small favour and go and hit that subscribe button and share this with just one of your friends that you think might find it really useful. As you know, the more eyes and ears we get on the podcast, the bigger and better guests I can bring for you guys, and in turn, the more value I'm going to be able to deliver. But over to today's guest, I am joined by Sammy Weaver. Sammy, thanks for coming on, brother.
Pleasure, bro.
Really appreciate it, my man.
Pleasure.
Really appreciate it. Now, Sam is a father of 2 beautiful little girls. He's a loving partner. He's a fucking extremely hard worker. And until about 6 months ago, he was an absolute rat bag on the piss. So, probably like that actually. But to be fair, it was a constant thing. So, Sammy was drinking every day. He was smoking cones every day. If anyone doesn't know what cones is, it's marijuana. Obviously, everyone knows what that is anyway. But he had a couple of bad habits that he probably wanted to let go of. And to be where he is now, we'll speak a bit more about that, probably wouldn't have been in his sight at all. So fast forward 6 months, and he's ran 2 ultra marathons, which is something. When was the last time you ran prior to this?
What was that? Sorry.
When was the last time you ran prior to doing your first?
Never.
Half marathon.
Did half marathon within 3 weeks of buying a set of shoes.
Yeah, so literally had never run before. He's now run 2 ultras, one being a trail ultra, which is known as Blackall, which is probably one of the hardest trail ultras in Australia.
Brutal.
As well as 2 half marathons, one of which, as he just said, was within 3 weeks of starting to run, which is pretty much fucking unheard of. And when we spoke about this, he was like, it's not that big of a deal. Is it, my bro? It's a pretty fucking big deal. But anyways, Sammy Weaver, thanks for coming on, my bro.
It's all good, brother. It's a pleasure to be here, man.
And it's a bit of a funny story as to how we met, right?
Yeah.
So I had a boat mooring which I was putting up for rent. And one of the fellas that came down to look at it was like, bro, pretty sure that this one here, pointing to the one that Sam had his boat parked in, is your one. And I looked on the plans and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. That looks like it's meant to be mine, but I don't think it is because there's a boat in it. And it turns out that he knew the dude that owned the boat, and it turned out that it was Sam. So I get a phone call later on that day from Sam going, oh, hey, bro, I think my boat's parked in your mooring. And here we are, bro, 6 months later.
Yeah.
That's pretty much how our paths crossed at first. But yeah, it was a bit
It's
of
pretty
a
funny.
whirlwind, right? So
Yeah.
when you got that phone call off old mate, what sort of was going through your head?
He was like, is your boat where it's parked meant to be parked there? I'm like, well, yeah, like the real estate told me that's where my spot is.
Fucking real estate, man.
And set my boat there for the last couple of years or whatever. And then, get a phone call, and then I'm like, fuck. And he's like, yeah, no, he's not happy. Like, your boat shouldn't be there, this and that. I was like, well, fuck, I don't know where my mooring is meant to be then. And then I was like, fuck, I got some admin here to try and talk my way out of this somehow. Gave you a call, and it just ended up being the nicest bloke ever. And then from there we just chatted every now and again and then whatnot, so
yeah, bro. Yeah, and then I think there was a point there where you were like sort of reached out and you're like, hey, bro, I want to do whatever it is you do.
What do you do?
Like, you see my posts and all that sort of stuff.
See your Instagram and that, found your handle, and then sort of like, can you help me?
Yeah, and so Sammy didn't actually know this, but he became the first client for the Conscious Masculine, which was a course that I only just, I think, half built at the time.
Which sounds crazy because it was all just so well done. To find out that I was the first client, and then also on top of that to find out that you hadn't even built the second half of the fucking course.
It was there. I had the content written. I just
The
had
book
to.
was all there. I had the book straight away and
Yeah,
all
that's
that.
right.
Like,
So the book was all built, the Happier, Healthier You journal, but I still had to record the videos and then get the worksheets done by my graphic designer. I was like, on Mon, who lives over in NZ, I'm like, come on, Mon, I need these. I've got a guy here that's like doing this course right now and he's catching fucking up. But yeah, bro, fucking
yeah, so
crazy, right?
it is crazy. It is.
But
Good.
man, so obviously drinking and taking drugs was a big part of your life for quite a long time from a very young age. So tell us a little bit about growing up. You were born in New Zealand, right?
Yep. So born in New Zealand. I wasn't born in Hokitika where I grew up. I was born just at Hokitika.
When you say it fast, it sounds funny, bro.
Yeah. So yeah, I was born just out of Christchurch, and we moved over to Hoki when I was I don't know 6 or 7 or something like that. I think.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So I spent my young years, like, all my group of mates and all that, growing up in Hoki. Sick place, like rivers, mountains, lakes.
Where is it again? South Island, North Island?
South Island. South Island. It's
West Coast.
West Coast,
Yeah.
west of Christchurch, so about 3 hours drive from Christchurch.
Yeah.
Small town. I think there's like 4,500 people that live there at that time. Like, I think it's gotten a little bit bigger now.
Yeah.
Like when we first landed there, started going to primary school. I think our primary school had like 42 students or something like that.
Yeah.
Like 4 or 5 classes. Like they were, yeah, you sort of everyone knows you.
Yeah.
It's a cool spot. It's cool.
So, being that everyone knew you, how were you known around town?
Probably a bit of a fucking rat bag.
We have that in common, bro. We definitely have that in common.
Yeah. I don't think. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, probably just a bit of a rat bag, man.
So what would have led people to believe that you're a bit of a rat bag? Tell me a bit more about, like, I guess you as a child or even a young teen.
Yeah, it's probably more into my young teens. Like as a young child, and that, like I sort of, Dad got me into motocross a lot.
Yeah.
Like we got into motocross, and I was racing pretty much every weekend away, all throughout the South Island. Like, fuck, he must have spent some money on it.
And you realise that later down the track.
Yeah, so when I turned 15, he told me, well, not when I turned 15, I left school at 15.
Yeah.
So when he always said to me, when you leave school, you can start paying for it yourself. And that's when I was like, yeah.
You should have hung on for a couple more years.
I should have.
Just to squeeze the writing out of
I
it.
tried. I sit in school, yeah. Nah, I was done with school, bro. I was done.
Fair,
I couldn't get out of there quick enough, to be honest.
Yeah, I hear that.
But yeah, growing up, so as a young kid, and that obviously, like, I was just racing motocross a lot. It was after probably when I left school that, I sort of probably started to get a bit of a name for myself as a bit of a rat bag, in the paper a fair bit for going to court and shit for stupid shit, like.
Do tell. I don't think I've heard this story.
Just stupid shit too, though. Like, it was just parties, man. Like, you'd be at a party and then you're sort of walking home with mates. I can remember one time we were just stupid shit, like scaffolding all up the side of the Regent Theatre, it was getting painted or renovated or whatever they were doing. And me and my mate had a race to the top, sort of got halfway up, the cops turned up, put the lights on us, and then, sort of scramble down the side and get out of there.
Yeah.
They knew who we were. They had a spotlight on us,
It's a small town.
And they'd just been past us like 5 minutes earlier at the pub. Like, they knew what we were wearing and everything.
Oh, bro, we think we're so smart when we're that age. What, 15, 16? Sort of
Yeah.
thing? Yeah, bro.
Oh, no, that time, it's probably a bit older. I would have been at the pub, so like 18.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit older.
Yeah.
Still only 18,
Old enough
but
to know better, but
yeah. It was just shit like that. And then, like, so then, I get put through the courts as unlawfully being on a building, skids and cars, just young blokes.
Little boy racer, eh?
Just young bloke shit, man, I don't think it was anything really too bad, Probably, I got a stupid, like, an
The
assault.
sort of shit that people turn their nose up at a little bit, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I get it, bro.
Just rat bag shit. I wasn't, nothing too crazy. But sort of, stood up for myself here and there and whatever else. And, like, the odd pub fight, whatever happens, this shit happens. And then, the cops come in and then you get done for assault. And all you're doing is just standing up for yourself or mates or whatever,
Yeah.
Just shit like that. Just small town shit that probably going out drinking every weekend doesn't help.
Yeah.
But, you soon get a name for yourself. It's a pretty small town.
Yeah, man, I hear that.
Yeah.
So, with the drinking and that sort of things, bro, this is obviously something that started for you at a young age, right?
Yeah. So I remember, like, I think it was about 13 or 14, and, like, we started going to parties and shit like that, like, pretty regularly. Like, that's what we sort of did, And then I think that's why I stopped racing when I had to start paying for it, because I was at that time I already started partying and bits and pieces with mates and whatever else, and it was a bit cheaper to chase chicks and drink beers and carry on,
Yeah.
a bit more fun and going away and trying to, like, come up with. I had a few sponsors for motocross, but they didn't pay for everything.
Yeah.
Like
They didn't pay for your piss and your drugs.
no, no, no.
Unfortunately.
No, I'd pay for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, racing motocross was expensive pretty much, and yeah, so we started drinking and partying, and you know, the town that I grew up in is a small town, beach town. So you know, you could go down there, light a fire on the beach, and kick back, and then you know, get hammered pretty much. Hey, like yeah, you pretty much.
Life was pretty good, eh?
Life was cool, man. Like it was fun, and you know, my whole life's been like that. It's just been fun. Like yeah, it's good, just always fun. Is always you know, you just got to have fun, really. Yeah.
100%.
So yeah, it's probably at 13, 14, sort of start drinking, and you know, all the boys are bloody smoking weed and carrying on as they do, you know.
Yeah.
Bits and pieces going on, just partying all the time, eh? So, yeah.
Yeah.
You weren't like sort of by that stage where you know we started all working and all that sort of stuff. Like I started working at a young age down the old timber mill and that so I always had like a bit of money to spend on grog and that on the weekends and whatnot. But yeah, so it did start at a young age, like fairly young, I think. But that was probably quite normal at that time too. You know, my whole group of mates were all drinking, so that's just what we done, you know.
Yeah, fair, bro. Fair. What age did you move to Australia?
It's been about 10 years ago now, so I'm 34, so to be, what, like 24, 25?
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. And what was the reason for moving over here?
We just lost a good mate of ours, probably, was it 6-8 months before I moved over?
Okay.
So like we were all just on it still, like, you know, I'd probably spent from like, right through to 13 and that sort of just partying all the time and having a good time.
Was it just a weekend thing or was it like, at this stage, was it sort of like an everyday thing?
Probably more a weekend thing at that age.
Yeah.
It's probably more just the weekends. But as I got older and then like we lost my mate, I know when I lost my mate, it was probably 10 years ago now, just over 10 years ago, I think. That's when it become more, I don't know how it even happened, really. I didn't obviously plan on it and be like, right, I'm just going to keep drinking from this day on. Like every day I'm going to just keep drinking. It just became a thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Back to you, quickly, I remember actually a conversation we had around your mate that passed. His name was Ben as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And there was like something real strange that happened, like.
So at the time, I struggled with it. I really struggled with it, and my partner at the time kept ringing a counsellor to sort of just reach out to me and try and get me to talk and open up. Because at that time, I did start drinking. That was when I started drinking every day.
That became the numbing thing, right?
Yeah, me and a few of my good mates. I think we like literally binge drunk for like I think it was like 11 or 12 days or something. Like can't even go to bed, like constant wake up hungover and just back on it. You know, didn't go to work, nothing like that. Just he's a close mate. It hit us hard. But so my partner at the time was calling this whoever they are, like a what would you even call them? Someone that's fucking reached out to try and help you.
Like a counsellor or something like that.
Counsellor, yeah, that's right. I just said it. So. And I was like, no, I'm good. I didn't want to talk. I couldn't be fucked. Like, I sort of pushed a lot of people away that were trying to help, like mum and dad, and that would, try and sit down and didn't want to do it. But so this counsellor was ringing, and then he's one conversation that really stuck with me was like, oh mate, like I lost a mate of mine years ago, and I didn't get any help. It took me about 10 years before I got some help, and that's actually the day I came in here and had that first consultation meeting with you about the course was Ben's 10-year anniversary.
It was 10 years to the dot. I remember you saying that when we were sitting here, bro.
Yeah, it was 10 years to the day that he'd passed away.
Crazy.
And then on top of it, his name was Ben. And
dude.
Remember I come in here and told you, I was like, bro, I've got some fucking out of it shit to tell you.
I remember you told me that, I have something I really need to tell you.
Yeah.
Synchronicities there are just fucking wild.
Yeah, it was like, this guy told me it was 10 years before he got some help and he wished he'd done it sooner and then this and this. And his name was Ben. So like, it all sort of like linked up. It was like, that's when I sort of knew I was in the right hands. I had to do something.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, like I said, like it wasn't that I'd hit rock bottom when I came in.
Yeah, no, that's right. Like, you got a pretty good life, bro. Good business.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about that in a second. Like, good business, great family. Live in a beautiful spot.
Yeah.
So what was it for you that sort of, I guess, made you want to reach out and actually do some work for yourself?
I think it was just the change of habit. I wanted to just change I never really looked at myself as an alcoholic, but I was definitely heading that way.
Remember that conversation we had?
Like it was taking over. Like it was beyond a point of just having a quiet beer for having a couple of quiet beers. It was always like, it was just a habit to have a beer.
Yeah.
if you know what I mean. Yeah, it was sort of like, yeah, because it had been probably a good 10 years where I was drinking most days. Like I couldn't remember the last time I actually had like a weekend off the beers without sort of waking up hungover, or like even during the week I might have like maybe one day off the beers, but like every other day was like anything from like 6 to 8 to 10 beers a night.
Yeah, and
You
a couple
know,
of cans go with it.
and a couple of cones just top it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought there's nothing wrong with it, but then it just got to this point when I was just sick of it, and it ended up being like within like it was about would have been 10 years to the day, because the day that he passed away was when I really noticed that everything the habit just took over and just kept rolling. It just snowballed.
The thing is, because at the time that was something that you used to deal with grief. Okay, it was like something that you used to numb yourself, right?
Yeah.
And so any time that this is what I've taken from it, and this is what I've seen many times with the people I work with, is that because it's what you did once upon a time, and it became the habit of that's okay. When I feel pain or when I feel like I need to numb myself, this is the thing that I do. So it's like even when it comes to like day-to-day life, like you feel a little bit of discomfort, a little bit of stress, a little bit of anger, a little bit of a fight with the missus. And it just goes boom back to that default setting, which is let's get pissed. Let's fucking just numb it with alcohol, right?
Yeah.
And remember, we were sitting here, and you're like, "Yeah, look, I don't think the drugs and the alcohol are the problem," because we were talking about how you've been having a lot of fights with your partner, being short and that sort of stuff.
Just short-tempered, eh? It was yep.
And I remember just sitting there. I was like, "Oh, okay, we'll come back to that.
Yeah,
we'll come back to that."
Because you're like, what do you sort of want out of this course? What are you sort of gaining to get? And at the time, I didn't really even know. I was just like, I don't know, but I don't really want to stop drinking, and like I do want to still be able to go down and have a beer with the boys at the pub, and all this sort of stuff. And you're just like, yeah, okay, we'll see. I was like, it's not a problem. It's not a problem. So how much are you drinking? It was like 6, 7 a night.
It's not too much.
It's fuck all,
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
And as we went through it, I remember it just like there was almost like that. When you hit a sweet spot with a tennis ball.
Yeah.
It's just like it was almost like this little light bulb switch, and you're like, I think there might be an issue here.
Yes. The penny dropped, eh?
Yeah, bro. It was
penny
actually
dropped.
really cool watching that sort of happen right in front of me, because you're just like, fuck, I need to do something here.
Yeah, and then like I realized I'm sitting in this office, and I'm like, yeah.
We're here for a reason.
We're here for a reason.
But back to, I guess, you moved over here when you were 24 years old.
Yep.
Obviously, you didn't start your business straight away. You were doing a couple of jobs here and there, but weren't really finding yourself. Then you started to run your own business as a gutter and fascia installer, right?
Yep. So I done my trade over in New Zealand as a heavy fab welder. So it was all heavy fab stuff like digger buckets and anything, excavators and shit like that. So I come out of my trade as a qualified boiler maker. Heavy fab. Come over here, I started running a workshop. Good job, good guy to work for, legend of a guy. Like, nothing really wrong with it at all, but I've noticed just the money wasn't quite there, and I was just getting sick of working for someone else though. Like I was just getting sick.
That bag coming out again.
Yeah.
Not being told what to do, eh?
Yeah. Yeah. And I had a lot of go on me too. Like I was always doing overtime. I just, I was always working, and it's just like I could do something where I could run around all day and earn some bit of money and, work for myself. So, I found doing fascia and gutter, and me and Mrs. bloody knuckled down and bought some scaffold and bought a little ute and set it all up, and that's it's going on 6 years now. Done that, and here we are. Got a worker for me now. I've had a couple in the past, different guys and this and that, and run a bit of a crew and run around putting gutters on all new houses around the Brisbane and Gold Coast area.
Yeah, man.
That's going good.
Yeah, so that'll keep you pretty busy, obviously, pretty flat out throughout the day.
Yeah.
And you're, leaving home at what time?
Yeah, anything. Some mornings it can be 3:30 if I'm working quite far away, but it's normally anything between 10 past 5. And, most of the time I'm not getting home until 5, 6.
Yeah, so almost like 12-hour day pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much, because
time you leave to time you get back.
Yeah, we don't really stop either, we sort of just go, eat on the run.
I don't know how you did that when you were like literally hungover every day.
I don't know.
Then to now, like compared to when you go to work now, obviously you finished for the year now. You've had like a week off so far.
Yeah, about a week off.
Yeah.
You see tomorrow, we're on.
Yeah. But what's the difference, I guess, in how you feel now and energy-wise? Because remember you said, another thing you said to me was like, I'm pretty sweet. Like, I don't wake up feeling like shit.
Yeah.
Because your baseline was feeling like shit. You know what I mean?
No, I'm sweet. I get up in the morning, I get a pie and a servo coffee.
Yeah.
You're like, do you not have a shake or everything? No, I'm good. It's like, diet's not that bad. Like, I'm pretty fit.
And then I might eat when I get home.
Yeah, I might eat when I get home, So here we go. And
Looking
you're
back
like,
now, you just like,
you said to me from that day, 100%. You said from me to that day, you said, right, tomorrow morning I want you to get up and just have like a smoothie, a shake, toast. You need breakfast. Just do some sort of breakfast. Like, I didn't eat until 9 or 10 in the morning, and it'd be a pie or a pack of chips. Or I don't know how I actually did what I was doing to a certain degree. Like, we were still pumping out some pretty big jobs and like doing really good jobs and doing really good work. But yeah, I was just probably obviously just running on E, like.
yeah.
And that's what I mean too. Like, I needed change. I seen it. Like, I didn't hit rock bottom, but I was sick of just running the same grind. I just needed a better routine more than what I was doing, And I knew I was capable of it, I knew I was. I was just sick of it. The day-to-day routine of, servo pie, acting like an old washed up fucking tradie,
And how old are you, bro? Like, it's
Yeah, well, that was even
Yeah.
like what I'm 34 now, so I was in like late 20s then.
yeah.
When I first started my business, even up until now, like.
And it's just been a constant thing. And that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's just living proof that like you can change your life at any point in time.
100%. You just need the right guidance and the right tools
Yeah.
from someone that you connect with to help you manage it and get through it.
Yeah.
Because looking back now, I don't even know how I was turning up day to day. Like
man.
a problem at work now arises now compared to even 6 months ago, 8 months ago. Like, a problem would arise then, and I would more than likely be like half hungover, a little bit dusty, bit of a headache. Wouldn't have drunk fuck all water for the week, let alone the day. Like,
Yes, bro.
like, I remember you told me to start
various
drinking 4 litres of water a day. I was just like, fuck, I hardly even drink a
We actually
litre.
get our water off the same people, eh?
Yeah,
Flow.
Pure Flow.
Good gear.
Yeah, that's good.
Shout
Good.
out to Pure Flow water.
I can't drink anything else now,
No,
right?
honestly, man, fucking like if I do drink something else, you can literally feel and taste the difference.
Mhm.
Play our little tinfoil hats on now.
Yeah.
Hey, hello. Sorry for interrupting your podcast, but I just wanted to quickly jump on and tell you about the must-have personal development tool for 2023, and it's called the Happier, Healthier You Journal. So I'll take you back to about 6 years ago. I'd just gotten out of jail for the last time and was starting my journey of personal development and growth. There was heaps of gurus, heaps of information available, but so much so that it became confusing. So I came up with the Happier, Healthier You Journal to help you to navigate what can be an absolute minefield. From the very get-go, you open the page and it'll challenge you to dive deep with self-assessments, daily activities, and check-ins to figure out exactly where you're at, where you'd like to be. And then from there, the journal becomes the tool to help you to bridge that gap. So to get your hands on this, click on the link below and don't forget to use Interchange 10 at checkout for a cheeky 10% off. I'll see you back over on the episode.
And then wake up the next day and the problem's still there. It's probably worse because I didn't deal with it in the first place.
Yeah.
I got the office that I subcontract to or whatever, whoever's house it is or whatever, is like going on about, why didn't you do this yesterday?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll get to it today, and you got another headache from fucking the day before. And it's just a snowball effect of shit.
Yeah, and it's right. And like you said, if you don't nip it in the butt, like, and don't deal with it, it doesn't go anywhere. It
doesn't. It just snowballs over.
Yeah. So obviously, stop drinking, or not stop drinking, but obviously,
I did when I started the course.
Yeah.
So I took a good couple of weeks to get started. It was hard,
Run us
eh?
through that process. What was actually the feelings, the thoughts, and emotions and shit that were coming up for you? Was there like a lot of resistance there to actually give up the thing that was keeping you stuck?
I think so. Yeah. Like, it was just like, I don't know. I still don't really feel that I was sort of like drinking and smoking to mask much. I probably was really deep down. I probably really was, but it more at the start probably. But I think it was just such a habit. It was a shit habit, but it was just such a habit to have a beer. Like, if not on the way home from work in the car, like just driving, have a couple of beers or whatever. If it wasn't, then it was like, during the, like at night or whatever, straight after work. It was just such a habit. So to break that, I just had to break that was my hardest thing.
Yeah.
And so I really signed up the course, like we had, like we had the ball rolling. You already sent me through a few modules and bits and pieces. I just needed to break that cycle so I could actually get into this journal and put my head in, because like, I'm not dumb, but like after a couple of beers, you switched off. You don't want to be doing bookwork and shit like that.
You
like,
don't want to be thinking.
Nah, and I found that
you do have to dive deep and actually, bring up shit that you're sort of struggling with this.
Yeah. And I found that, like, so I'd open the book and then I'd sit down and be like, oh, I'll go get a beer while I'm doing this, and then fucking, have a beer, and then you'd have another one. And you're like, fuck, my attention span's just gone out the window. Like, So then I was like, right, well, if I'm fucking doing this course, I'm gonna do it. Like, what you put in is what you're gonna get out, sort of shit. So, took your advice, bought a big calendar. And one big one that you can big squares on the passes, so you can cross them, you know, like every day. And I know it doesn't sound like much to people that don't drink every day, but I know a lot of guys that do it. I know a lot of guys that do struggle with it, especially like young blokes my age, couple of kids, married, you know, and then they just fall into that day-to-day routine of going and having a beer, and it's just, you know, just it is hard, you know. A lot
Like
of
you said,
guys,
it's just a habit, right? It's
just the
not like
habit of
an
it.
intentional thing. It's just that they're stuck in that fucking cycle.
It's that cycle. And you have one beer, you have two beers. By the time you have three, you want to have 10.
Yeah, and it
So
might
you
not
wake
be,
up.
might not even be beers. It might be, you know, like you said, smoking cones.
Yeah.
Going to the pokies
Yep.
after work, or you know,
It could, literally
whatever.
could be something like that. Whatever you needed to break that habit, I found the calendar was a big thing because I did day one, day two, and then I turned. I can remember driving to work and I was thinking, I'll turn day 2 into day 4, and I'll start doubling them up. Then I'll turn day 4 into day 8, and then so on and so on. Before you know it, so I did just over 2 months, 2.5 months, without touching a single drop or having any weed or anything like that. And fuck, man, I was like on. Like I was so focused, you know, like head down, bum up into the course. I was just focused. So I felt good.
And then you started running.
I started running because I started running a couple of weeks after I stopped drinking.
Yeah.
So I did the first 2 weeks and I was like feeling really good. But then I can remember one weekend sort of came up and I was just like, fuck, I feel like a beer, eh? Like I've done it right a couple of weeks. You know, I could just sit out the backyard.
That little voice just comes in, hey? It's just that little
pops up.
voice. You've been trying not to drink. Let's celebrate by having the thing that you're not trying to do.
Yeah.
You deserve it, bro.
Yeah.
You deserve it. You've been working so hard to not drink. So let's go and have
a drink. So I did the right thing, I feel. And I went for a jog around home, you know. And I had a goal of doing 5K in under half an hour. Doing my job, I'm fairly physically running around carrying planks and like, you know, on my feet all day. So I'm sort of a bit of a head start considering like, you know, I hadn't really run before. So I strapped a set of shoes on and I thought, right, well, I'll just go for a run. And then I fucking loved it, eh? Like it just felt good. And then, you know, I was obviously sore the next day and that, and I done a few stretches and went back out a couple of days later and all that sort of stuff. And I found myself as well, whenever I felt like a beer or something like that, just strap shoes on, just do a couple of K and work your sweat up and just get that pump, you know, get that pump going, release endorphins, you know, and then the taste of a beer sort of just fucking fucked off pretty much, eh? And then so I was running for like a week, and I was like, I wonder when the Gold Coast Marathon's on. So I had a look, and it was like 2 weeks. I was like, fuck, I wonder if I can do this. I've always wanted to do it, and with me as well, my hobbies and that just sort of, they fucking gone, you know, like they turn up, they show up for a bit, I sort of get really good at them or whatever else, and then another hobby will just pop up, and it's just like, oh, that's quite cool, do that. So I was like, I want to do some sort of marathon or something before I completely give up. So here we are, I booked the Gold Coast half marathon, so was it 21.1K, so I thought, so by the time I'd done it, I'd been running for 3 weeks exactly. I hadn't had any beers for, I think it would have been about 4 or 5 weeks or something like that. So I was feeling pretty good. And jumped in on the half marathon and cracked it in just under 2 hours.
Which is fucking not bad. I'm pretty sure my first half marathon was just over, it was like 2 hours and 10.
Yeah.
So you fucking smashed it. Absolutely fucking crushed it, bro.
And I loved it, eh? Like it was good. Like coming across that finish line and that, it was just sick. It was a sick feeling, eh? Like, yeah, it was good. So we jumped in and did that after 3 weeks, and then from there on, we sort of just carried on running in bits and pieces. Like, before you know them.
I remember doing one of the 5Ks with you before you cracked the 30-minute 5K.
Yeah.
You fucking struggled, bro.
I did struggle. It was.
And I reckon if I came for a run with you now, I'd fucking struggle, bro. Like, you'd fucking run.
Let's go.
You're like, fuck yeah, I want to get the payback.
Your legs are pretty long in one, eh?
Yeah, true. Fucking, I'll take like one step to your two.
Yeah.
But bro, like, not only that, like, there's okay, half marathon in 3 weeks. Fucking unheard of.
See, I thought it was fairly normal, to be honest.
Bro, that's not normal, man.
Nah.
Like people train a long time to even run events like that. Yeah, then Blackall.
Yeah.
50Ks in the fucking bush, bro. With like how much elevation?
It was just under 2,000 meters, I think. Yeah, so pretty high. You're getting
a lot, bro. And for anyone that's
pretty
like run a trail or even just run through the bush, like whatever the circumstances, running from police even,
you
get a lot more puff than if you're running on pavement. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Like it is a lot harder.
Yeah, it was through creeks, up like in mountain ranges and back down the other side, and then you got no knees left by the end of it. You're pretty well cooked.
Bro, I was
Like,
worried about you running that. I was actually like physically worried for you, bro. I'm like, make sure you give me a message. And I
yeah,
remember the message we get. It's like, we don't do DNFs. Which is
yeah,
like,
you're
for
like
anyone that doesn't know, it's a do not finish.
just
I did not finish, sorry.
yeah, I don't do DNFs.
And at this point in time, you'd only been running for like 2 months or something like that.
Yeah, it was something like that. Like, what am I now? 6 months, and so I think it was only
2 or 3 months.
2 or 3 months or something. I was pretty nervous going into it. I was wondering, like, what, like, this is actually pretty hectic now. Like, half marathon, so people can do it, but then I'm
you
like,
double that and add some.
yeah.
And
So
then
I've
do it
missed
in the
out on a
bush.
marathon as well, and that's what I was worried about as well. So I've never even run any further than like 21K ever.
Yeah.
And then I was like, maybe I should have done a marathon. I had a heap of head noise with it. I was just like, 50,
Just
right?
those intrusive thoughts, right?
Yeah. But as it turns out, it's sick. Got it done, eh?
Fucking oath you did, bro.
But a lot of it was in the mind, bro. Like, your body's got to keep up. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I got this real strong mindset at the moment where I'm with the running, and that's why I'm enjoying running so much at the moment, because it's sort of like your mind and body are just that I've found I've separated them almost. That makes sense.
Yeah.
It might not, but that's how I
Yeah.
feel. Like, I feel like my mind is just like, you can do pretty much whatever you want to do. And lately, I have found that out after that last ultra I done. My knees and my shins are pretty well cooked.
Yeah, that was the
GC50.
GC50, bro, down at Cooley, and
Yeah,
it was
Cooley.
a fucking hot day.
It was a belty.
That was like the 3rd of December, yeah?
Yeah, it was the third. Yeah,
Yeah.
the start of summer
Yeah.
here on the Gold Coast, and it was
30 something degrees.
yeah, it was fucked. I didn't actually enjoy it that much, but yeah, like I said, my mind enjoyed it. Put myself through some paces.
Your body, on the other hand,
My body was like, what are you doing, man? Yeah, like I went for a run this morning, and it felt good, but I'm still not really nowhere near back to.
Awesome. Well, we should go for a run sometime soon then.
Yeah, let's go.
Before you're back to like scratching it again. I might have a chance to keep up. But yeah, bro. Like, once again, that was just a mindset thing. So, what was the big shift that you had when it came to, obviously, previously you drinking and obviously just thinking, I can't do anything, this is my life, to now, I can fucking achieve absolutely anything I put my mind to?
Oh, it's fucking crazy, man. Like, I feel like you almost feel bulletproof some days. Like, you just feel like you can, obviously have off days, real human, but like having after this, doing the whole journal, and you're journaling every day. Like, I don't do it. I've done it a couple of times in the last few weeks, but now the course is done, and that, like, I just feel my mindset is just unbeatable in a way. Like, and that's why I'm pushing myself with running, just sort of see how much I can do, and it's becoming pretty crazy. But yeah, just the day-to-day slog of working and coming home and drinking, it's just it's a boring way to live. Like, push your boundaries, and
that's the thing, like, for you, bro, you're someone that has every fucking excuse under the sun not to do these things.
yeah,
You're working 12-hour days, you've got 2 kids and a wife at home. You're working, and your days aren't just 12-hour days, they're fucking hard yakka.
yeah,
But you still got out there and got the shit done to make sure that you could do the things that you wanted to do, because you put your mind to it.
Yep.
So for anyone out there that's making the fucking excuses and saying, I can't do this because of X, Y, and Z, what would be a piece of advice that you'd like to give to them, or even just something that helped you to get through that, to break past the cycle of making excuses and justifying things that you're not doing to yourself?
Pretty much, like, reach out for some help. You might not feel like you actually completely need it. Like I say, we got a good house, beautiful kids. Mrs. does so much for me. Like, like, for us, like, she holds the fort together fucking amazing. Like, it's not that I had a massive, like, we weren't on rocks, but I knew that I could be better, and I still can be, like, we're still growing. But, yeah, so, like, I just feel like if anyone out there that finds himself in that day-to-day struggle, just reach out to someone like yourself that's more relatable than, like, you don't need a doctor. You might not need a doctor. I can't really sit there and say that, actually. But, like, there are other options than going to the doctor and getting put on medication. You don't need medication. Like, people don't need medication for things. Yes, it probably helps bits and pieces. I've never really had to go down that road. But like I say, I didn't hit rock bottom before I picked up a journal and started journaling to make myself a stronger, better version of myself. So my advice would be to sort of reach out to someone like yourself that is, like, more relatable. Like, through this course, there was words in there that I didn't even understand, and like, you were only a phone call or a text away, and you sort of related it to a piece where I could understand it. And it's sort of, like, does that make sense? Like, just, like, like you don't need to be struggling. Like, if you find yourself in that day-to-day shit, and you don't need to hit rock bottom, you don't need to do anything drastic, you don't need to go to a doctor. Sometimes there's other ways to just help, and it can just, you just create a better mindset for yourself, and it's going to bounce through.
Yeah, and obviously that mindset's still serving you because you are wanting to do 100 Ks now.
I got 100 going on.
So from drinking 8, 9, 10 beers every night, smoking cones,
Yeah,
not doing, and this is, I think another thing you said as well was that this is what you were doing before you were even dealing with a family, before you were even coming and saying like.
a lot of times, like I had to hold myself up. Sometimes I'd get home and, like, the kids and missus would be inside and doing whatever they're doing or whatever, and I'd get home and sort of straight into the garage and I'd grab a beer, crack a beer, and I'd finish doing what I'm doing with work-wise or whatever, load my trailer up. Before I got inside, like, not all the time, but, there's a good chunk of it. Like, I might already had punched a couple of cones and had a couple of beers before I got inside, before I even seen my family. I was already baked, To now, I don't even really drink during the week anymore. I still have the odd beer here and there, but it's so much more controlled. I broke that habit, like, through this course is where it all started. Like,
I think that's the thing though as well, is just getting really clear on what you want out of it, because a lot of people go and say, I don't want to drink ever again.
Yeah.
And then it's like they do all right for a couple of weeks, and then they drink and they're like, oh, fuck it, well, I just screwed up, I might as well go back and do what I was doing.
Yeah.
Whereas if you get really clear on it, okay, like for you, for instance, like you want to have a beer here and there. That's cool, man. You want to.
I enjoy having a beer with mates.
Right? Yeah, 100%. I'm the same, man. Like New Year's, I'm going to have a pretty big night, but then I won't drink again for a year and a half. And I've set that my intention.
Yep.
Like, I'm not going to say and sit here that I'm never going to fucking drink again, because I know that's probably, for me, like there's no reason for me not to.
Yeah.
Because I have a control of that habit now.
And you don't want to punish yourself for drinking, saying that you're not going to drink.
That's right. And that's where a lot of people fuck up, is because it comes back to that self-sabotage. Like they fuck up once, and they, let's say, have a drink, take some drugs, and they're like, well, now that I've done it once, I've got to go back to doing what I was doing and punish themselves for it.
Yeah.
By doing more of the thing they don't want to do.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas, like, for you now, like, you've got a control of it. You want to, have a drink here and there, and you're not obviously going out most of the time, apart from the Christmas party just gone.
Yeah.
And getting too fucked up compared to what you were doing.
Yeah.
And you've got goals. I think that's another big thing as well, bro, is having goals outside of, like, obviously you did have goals around, like, work, and goals around, like, your relationship to a certain degree, and goals around like finances and things like that.
Yeah.
And now you've got other things that are keeping you momentum, which are helping you to stay on track with those things as well.
Yeah, 100%. Like, and that's why I book these stupid events, in such a short time. They're fun. They're cool. I love it. Like the mind loves it. The mind absolutely loves it. I am able to be able to do this sort of stuff. But I find, if I book an event like a 50K ultra or 100K or whatever I'm doing,
that you're working towards next?
Yeah, it keeps you on track, and it keeps you, fairly straight and narrow to get to where you want to go.
Yeah.
You don't just fall back into that rut of, day-to-day drinking, or whatever it might be, day-to-day gambling or whatever, those short-term goals just keep you ticking over.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing as well, is like having those small goals that keep you, like you said, in momentum moving forward.
Just something at all, like, just anything, and it's, you sort of learn that through this course, where you just need to pick up something, whatever it is. Like, it doesn't have to be running ultras.
No, exactly right. It could be anything. Whatever the person wants to sort of focus on.
Yeah.
So let's go back to, I guess, your experience now with the course. And like I said, so we only just unearthed this to you the other day, that you were the first one. But I was pretty proud of, I guess, the changes that you made, man. And obviously, as your coach, like, it was fucking amazing to see that you really take this, like, 100% grab by the horns and run with it, bro.
Yeah.
But what were the biggest things that you sort of took away from it, and what are some things that I guess you'd like to share with other people around what they could get out of this?
Pretty much, the biggest thing is just the mindset, and it's showing that you can do more. You are capable of more stuff. I do struggle to explain it, because there is sort of so much to unpack, but it does. It just shows you that you don't have to live that day-to-day life. It brings up things that you might be sort of struggling with. Like, another thing that I always struggle with was even just to sit down. Like, I just, like, I'd go to work for 10, 12 hours. I'd come home and I'd mow the lawns. I'd work right through it all. It's dark, and it gets you to, like with some of the modules of the meditations and all that sort of stuff through it. Like, I've done like no meditating before at all until this course, and like, you know, you send through the meditations that you do, and you sit in a dark room and you really get into it. You know, you come out of it feeling better than what you ever have, sort of thing, with any sort of drugs or alcohol.
Yep.
You know, so like, yeah, it's sort of one thing that I've sort of learned, and it's taught me to pull back and just look at life in a different way. Like, you know, like it's not that I've sort of thought life was always shit. I've never been one to walk around with my head down and all that sort of stuff. But you don't need alcohol. You know, like the odd beer's fine, but like you don't need alcohol to make it what life is, sort of thing. Like it slows you down, it gets you breathing a bit better, and everything like that. It's just all the each week there's something new that comes up that you find out of the course that it's
But bringing up things from like way back then that you sort of repressed and buried down, right?
Yeah, you didn't even know were there.
Yeah.
You know, it's sort of, it is hard. I do struggle to explain it of what it's actually like. I know what it's done for me. Like it's fucking turned my life around. Like
from drinking 8 or 9 beers a night to now running like ultras,
and you know, like just that sort of stuff like that alone. You know, like that video I sent you after that GC50, I was sitting in the ute and I was like emotional as, and I was like, I sat down, I tried to work out like where the feelings come from. Like I've never done shit like that, but this course gets you to actually dig deep to work out where it's coming from and this and that. And funny enough, I keep it coming back and it was just all you know, like, you know, I was seeing that video, holding the medal, and I was like, look at this, like, it's sort of, I do struggle with that question because it's just done so much. Like it's turned my life right around. It's made me control pretty much everything that I feel I can control.
Yeah.
Obviously, like once again, we are human. You know, things get overwhelming, but I feel like I can adjust a lot better than what I could do.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
right. And
like,
what would, I guess, like your partner, your kids, like, what do you think they would say about the changes that you've made? What differences would they have noticed?
well, for a start, I'm not hungover as nowhere near as much. You know, like we had our work party the other week, you know, and I was hungover the next day, and I hated it. You know, like so. Right there,
Did you get booted out of some shit?
Yeah. I think I was there for about 4 hours.
Fuck. Yeah, it's a big day.
But yeah, like, you know, like I'm up in the morning and, you know, if I don't go for a run or do something, like, you know, like I'm, you know, get my daughter into running. We've done a few little running events together now.
No, even took her to the ice bars yesterday.
Took it to
Day
day before you said yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
You know, she hopped in the ice bath, like just shit like that. Like I'm living a better, healthier life. And, you know, like I think that's another thing that I'm like sort of proud of myself as well. As these kids get older, they'll be brought into a better life with me being healthier and everything like that, you know, like, I'm probably not, I'm definitely not as snappy, but I'm human.
Yeah, of course.
You know, we still, you know, me and Mrs. still bump heads here and there. Like we've got different agreements on, you know, different, you know, views on life.
That's just perception, right? We all have different ways of seeing things because of the experiences and things that we've lived through our lives, right?
Yeah. But like since the course, I don't like, you know, carry on and slam doors and bloody do stupid shit. Like I feel like I can handle an argument a lot better than what I did.
Would you say that your communication has improved?
Yeah. My missus might not think that. No, I think she does.
I need to ask her, eh?
Yeah. No, I think she does think that. Like I know that I am a lot better to deal with now than what I ever have been. Yeah, that sort of stuff's changed. Like I've slowed down a lot. You know, like I've slowed down a lot and pulled back instead of just go. You know, like it was times when, you know, like you just go, and half of it is because you're wanting to get home. You know, you might go out and do a family day out or whatever like that, and you just want to get home and sit out the backyard and have a few beers.
Yeah.
You know, all that sort of is gone now. You know, like it doesn't really worry me if I have a beer or not, sort of thing. So like, yeah, like I've slowed down when we go out for family days out or whatever. Like my whole day is actually, what's the word for it? I'm present, you know. I feel like
I was waiting for you to get there, bro.
Yeah, there we go. It took a while, but
I wasn't giving it to you. Yeah.
But yeah, like my missus and kids probably find that I'm a lot more present.
That's awesome, bro.
I have my days, but you know, don't we all? Yeah,
We all do, bro. I think we all do, man.
Yeah, you know, the kids are testing, but well, you know, gotta navigate through it.
That's it, bro. It's part of being an adult, right? And part of being a parent, especially, man. Like, there's no manual or handbook on how to do it, bro. But I definitely feel that even since we've been working together, and obviously since I've known you, like even the difference in like your energy, bro, is just crazy, bro. With everyday life, like there was that incident where you crashed your car on the way to work,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, I remember you called me like, man, I crashed my car this morning, but I'm fucking cheering. If I'd done that like a month ago or 2 months ago,
Yeah.
I would have been fucking blowing up. Probably would have cancelled the rest of the day and gone and got on the piss.
Pretty much, yeah. And then the next day I would have been hungover, and it would have been my ute would have been sitting at the front, still beaten up.
Yeah.
My ute was still beaten up, but I had insurance sorted out. I had it booked in by 2:00 or whatever. Like I took it down. I just got on top of it, and I looked at another thing I'd find with the course as well is like you look at the positives in life, not the negatives.
Yeah.
There has been times in my life where like, you manifest negative energy all the time. I know it sounds a bit woo-woo, especially to all my mates listening to this, and I know I feel the
you probably would have thought that as well before we actually worked together, right?
Yeah, 100%. I've dipped my toes in a few courses with, like, I'm being dragged away to courses and bits and pieces, so I do understand it. I know a lot of my mates like, oh, that's a bit of bullshit, but it is so true. If you look at the negatives in any object, any shit in life, any experience, shit's just going to keep coming negative. You start looking at the positives, and positive things just happen.
Yeah.
And as for my ute, like I crashed, and I was, like that far away from the so I ran up the back of someone, and his tow ball went into my bumper and whatever else. Like I was that far away from going in the radiator, spilling water out on the motorway, and getting a tow truck, and I wouldn't be going to work.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen. 6 months ago, I would have looked at that and thought, fuck, I almost fucking might not have been able to work today, and I've almost got a tow truck, and my ute's crashed. But it was like, oh sweet, I can still drive. There's no water. Sick. This ain't too bad at all. Hop back in, exchange details, do what you got to do, get to work, finish your job, still get money. Everyone's happy.
Yeah.
And I get to work, and I get on the phone, and I do this and I do that. I wasn't dusty. Like I didn't have a few beers the night before because I wasn't drinking. My mindset was a lot clearer. Everything was sort of just straightforward, and it all worked out so much better and easier. And yeah, just shit like that.
You fixed anyway, didn't you?
Yeah, possibly.
So really,
it's always it's win-win. Yeah. Look at the positives, and something else will happen.
Yeah, no, fuck it. And I love that.
Yeah, and the ute thing was just one thing that sort of happened. Like, I find with everything else with this course, like it teaches you to look at, it trains your brain to look at positivity.
Change your bias. Because we all look at the world through a lens of some kind, whether it be a negative bias or a positive bias is completely up to us. And if we continue to focus on the negative things, like you said, you're only going to see negative things. If you begin to focus on the positive things and start to feed your brain more positive feedback, it's going to look for more positive things to see, because it's down to a part of our brain called the RAS, or the reticular activating system, which is like our body's shit filter. So they say that we're seeing 60 billion bits of data at any one time, right? But we only take in 11 million bits of data. So obviously, I mean, if we took in 60 billion bits of data, our heads would probably fucking explode.
Yeah.
So our brains have adapted to only taking the things that we see as important, and the things that we see as important are the things that we focus on. So if you're focusing on negative shit, the brain is going to show you negative shit.
Yeah.
If you're focusing on positive things, you'll start to see more positivity in your life, more things to be grateful for, more things that you can start to actually implement to help you get to where you want to be. It just comes down to what you focus on. Yeah,
it is so true. And like, because doing your journaling every day and all that sort of stuff, you got in there, like looking at the 3 things to be grateful for.
Yeah, something so simple, right?
It could be something so simple.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of mine was, just grateful that I had a roof over me. Grateful to live in a house like I live in. Like, grateful for the kids. Grateful for just this. Sometimes it's like next to nothing.
Yeah, but it's teaching you to stop taking things for granted, right?
Yeah. And it was always, it's always the small things. Like, you could be before the course and all that sort of stuff. Like, come home in a bit of a mood or whatever, and you just storm around, you just fucking grumpy all night, and then you have a shitty sleep and all that sort of shit.
It just carries on into the next day.
The
next day, yeah.
You come home and, you could be having a bit of a shittier day or whatever, and you come home and, you just be grateful that you can go for a run, around these bloody canals and all that sort of shit, like sit at home, there's a lot of times I catch myself now just standing up on that balcony at the back home and just looking down. I'm like, fuck, I can't believe I live here. Like, this is so sick.
Yeah.
And beforehand, like, sometimes you're just like,
Yeah.
So like, it slows you down and puts things into perspective quite well.
I love that, my bro. I love that. Now, man, before we finish up, what are your goals for the future? So you got a 100K ultra.
So I've got I've done these 250s by myself with no coaching whatsoever.
Yeah.
No one to sort of help me. I haven't even looked at Google to see what training plan. I've just been like doing the odd 5, 10, 15K run here and there. Trying to eat as healthy as I can, just off the beers as much as I can, all that sort of shit. And I've noticed my knees are getting a bit clapped out from them. Shins are hurting, like bits and pieces. I want to do 100 within a year of running.
When did that goal come about? When was it that you decided you wanted to do 100K? Was that after the 50 or before the 50?
After the first Black Hole 50, because I'd done it
Okay.
and I felt like I had a lot more in me.
Okay.
Like I was doing cartwheels when I hit, because I've never done a full marathon, the 42.
Yeah.
42K.
42.2, yeah.
Yeah, so I've never actually hit that milestone and done a marathon before. So when I hit that milestone and did a marathon, I did a couple of cartwheels and still managed.
Out on the trail.
Yeah, out on the trail, and still managed to be able to run another 8K.
Yeah.
And I finished, and like my watch wasn't coming up as 50K, so I actually ran through the finish line, rung the bell, and
fucking Strava always doing you dirty.
Yeah, dog. And then done a couple of laps of the car park so I could do my 50 on the Strava. I couldn't not do a 50. But I found that I had a bit more in me, So I was like, I've got a fair bit of go in me. I don't want to stop it at that. So yeah, I'm going to book into 100. I've got Lano. Shout out to Lano.
Yeah, Lane Story, you fucking legend.
He's a weapon of a bloke.
36 half Ironmans in 36 days to raise money for cystic fibrosis, and I'll put a link for his podcast below the notes because he's a fucking weapon.
And anyone that wants coaching or anything that's listening to this that needs, so I'm just using him as a running coach at the moment, but he does like triathlons, Ironmans, anyone that wants to do stuff like that. Like he's he seems great coach. Like he's really understanding on what I'm doing. I've told him my goal, so I haven't booked it yet, but I'm more than likely going to do it. It's the Noosa 100, and that's in March. Yeah. I have to do it now. I've just said it on this potty.
You've definitely spoken about that too many times to go back on it now.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. So I've told him my goals, and he's we're doing a lot of strength work on my knees and shins and all that sort of stuff. So I've got Lano on board as a coach. I want to hit 100. I don't know what's going to happen after that. If I'll go further and do like more long distances. Yeah. I want to do something to raise money for. I don't really know what exactly. I don't think I want to hit it for a charity as such, but I want to hit some money because I feel like I've realised recently that a lot of people don't do this sort of distances, especially in the time frame that I've sort of reached these distances. So I don't know what, I need to try and work something out. I'm not going to have a lot of time to raise money, but I want to find a family or someone that's, got a kid or someone that's got like, cancer or something that needed just a bit of a help. I know obviously I'm not going to, fix everything, but, like I might as well try and raise some money for someone that's, out there struggling or whatever. So I want to try and do that for the 100. And if that goes well, then God knows what's installed for me because this course has just turned my mindset like on.
It's like being anything's possible, right?
I honestly feel that anything is possible, and it is, and I know that I'm capable of a lot more than what I'm doing.
Okay, so apart from the fitness side of things, Brian, obviously like that journey there.
Yeah.
What other goals have you got around like family, relationships, like finances, anything there specifically that you
buy a house? We really want to buy a sick house.
Yeah. And you already live in a sick house.
Yeah, we do. It is sick.
But that's a problem after living in a sick house. You like money to have a sicker house.
A sicker house.
And that shit ain't cheap on the Gold Coast.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Nah. Yeah. But yeah, like especially after COVID, like it moved them goalposts back a fair bit. But we'll get there. So yeah, there's goals around that. And my biggest goal now is probably just navigating my kids through life, and being the best partner I can and all that sort of shit, But yeah, navigating them through life, they have meltdowns and, life's hard for them. It's not, but it is.
Hard, right?
For a 5-year-old, they and a 3-year-old, like things are tough. So just navigating them through life the best way I can, instead of, the old ways that I used to, sort of thing, would be my biggest goal in life at the moment is to give my kids the best education I can, because like I said before, school was not for me. I hated it. I liked being there because I was there, but like hang out with the boys, whatever else you were doing there. But I was just, I felt that school for me, you know, they couldn't, because I'd never sat still. So I felt like they just didn't have the resources to help me with what I needed. Probably, I don't know. Like, so
to support you with the way that you needed to learn.
I feel that, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I can't really go blaming the
I
teachers.
was very similar, man. Like it just wasn't like I feel like with school, and obviously NZ was probably the same as Australia.
Yeah,
If you don't fit in the square box model,
yeah.
they sort of just push you to the side, and you're just like,
Oh, literally to the side. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like I was constantly getting kicked out of my metalwork class and all that sort of shit. And then I left school and ended up being a boilermaker.
yeah,
Like I actually enjoyed working with my hands and building things, but
Yeah.
the teacher just could not be fucked with me.
yeah,
And he was just an old washed up boiler himself, you know, he
Yeah.
wasn't a teacher. But I can't go blaming the teachers of the school that I went to. But yeah, as for goals in life, like that is probably one of my biggest goals, is to get my kids in the best education that they can. And it's not just getting them to up to a really good high standard of reading and writing. It's giving them the best schooling that the school knows how to deal with if they have any learning, like not difficulties, but like any problems of like seeing things, they can get taught in a different way.
Yeah, you got to remember as well.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, but the education is only a small part of it. Their experience at life comes a lot from you as well.
Yeah.
And now that you're
Yep.
doing all these things and showing them a different way, bro, they're going to grow up so much happier, so much healthier, and you know,
Yeah.
have so many more opportunities that they might not have had previously, bro. Which is just fucking beautiful to see.
I love it. Like I've already got a Valia hard up me going, can we go back to the ice baths? She's like, let's go ice baths. We need to do it.
5 years old.
She's
bro.
like, my legs are sore, I need ice bath. Like, yeah, you do.
I fucking love that, bro.
It's so good. Like
Wild.
she gave it a go too. She hopped in, and I was sort of like, I was sitting
How
there.
long she do?
Oh, she did first bit, she did like probably 20, 30 seconds
Yeah.
sort of thing. And then like, you know,
And this is at 7 degrees, yeah.
yeah, it's 8 or 9 or something. Yeah, it's fucking cold.
Still cold.
But like, then I found like I'd sort of, because we're doing hot and cold. So like you'd hop in the hot.
Contrast,
Yeah, so we're doing that, and she'd love the hot one and swim around, and then we're like, right, you know, the buzzer would go in the shop there, and then you're like, right, let's get it, come on. And then she like do it in and out, in and out. And then I started just talking to her while I was sitting there, because I was doing 4 minutes in each sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then there was one point I was just talking to her about anything, like just whatever she wanted to.
Chat shit.
Just chatting shit. And then I found she just sort of climbed in, and she didn't even notice she'd done it either. And she was just sitting in there with me up to her shoulders. And we were just sitting in the ice bathroom together. And it's like, this is sick.
That's a fucking cool moment, bro.
It is a cool moment. Like I loved it, man. Like we went away from there, and she loved it. And it's good to have those qualities in life now, instead of old dad just hung over.
Yeah.
You know, or I can't be bothered, I've had a big week at work. I still have a big week at work. I actually work harder now than what I ever have.
Yes.
And still have more energy now than what I ever have. Yeah.
It's crazy, hey.
It's good, man.
Man,
Like,
those
yeah.
changes, man. Yeah.
It's just the change, eh? Like it's a good change. And I'll never go back. Like I'll always, you know, have a beer here and there. Yeah, I'll probably play up here and there, but like when I focus on something, I feel you focus on something a whole lot better now. You know, you set those goals, set those intentions, and head down, bum up. It might be for a month, it might be for 6 months. It's like you get a goal and you set it and you go for it.
Fucking love it, bro. Well, man, thanks for coming on for yarn.
Ah,
People
all
wanna
good, brother.
follow you, Instagram, Facebook, all that sort of stuff. Where can
Yeah,
they find
just-
you, bro? Because I mean, at the end of the day, you're living proof that you know you are capable of doing anything you put your mind to.
100%. Yeah, you are. Everyone's capable. You know, like I've had the ripple effect come through with me a fair bit with people that I would even think would even have a go at running.
Yeah.
You know, people used to come down and we'd drink. Now we go for a run.
It's crazy, hey.
Yeah, bro. So if anyone ever wants to have a chat or anything, I'm more than happy to have a yarn. Just Sam Weaver on
Yeah.
Instagram, really.
I'll put the tags below in the
Yeah.
the comments and everything like that, bro.
Yeah. So
Facebook or anything like that.
yeah, I have Facebook and all that sort of stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
You'll be finding me kicking around there.
Yeah, sweet, brother.
But
Bro,
yeah,
thank you very much for coming on.
it's a
man.
pleasure, bro.
Absolutely appreciate it, bro.
Come on,
And
brother.
thank you for being my pilot for my course. It
So
obviously works.
It works.
Yeah, it works.
It works. It works. Like if anyone's hearing this and they're wondering like what to do next in life or anything, they want to do some sort of course or anything, like it's a great course to do. You don't have to hit rock bottom. You know, don't let people tell you that coaches are a load of shit, because they're not. Like they're just another source of change. Really, is that right? Yeah, I think that'd be right.
I mean, thank you, brother.
Cheers, brother. Appreciate it.